V50 update, which finally brings us direct touch interface, which means that now we can interact with the interface either by using these controllers or by using our hands, just like we use the touch-based interfaces on our mobile phones, smartphones, and tablets. So let's see how it works. So I'm gonna go from the multi-window view to the tablet view because it will bring the interface to me. So right now the interface is about 2 meters away from me, so I want to bring it close to me. So let's put down the controllers. I'm gonna use only my hand tracking now, which meta improved along the years, so hand tracking 2.0 is quite accurate, which is the reason why direct touch is even possible. So let's go from multi-window view to the tablet view. So now we can see that we have index fingers indicators for each of our hands. This is what we already had ever since hand interactions was represented, I guess. So basically, as you can see, 2 indicators, but once you get close to the interface, for example, if I go to disable notifications, as you can see, I just clicked it, just like I do in any other mobile or tablet interface. Same goes for sliders, so if I want to go and play with my volume, as you can see, it works perfectly. Same goes for any other buttons in the interface. Now let's go to the dock, click all applications. You can see that finally we've got scrolling, just like you would expect from your tablet or your smartphone. Anyways, scrolling works just fine. Now I want to go to Files application, for example, and I want to see if I can maximize images. So let's take a photo I just took in Onward a few days ago. So we don't see any pinch to zoom capabilities right now because this feature is in experimental features, under experimental features. So I guess that they will solve this because spoiler alert, I know that it's possible because Microsoft already solved it with their MRTK SDK about a year ago or 2 years ago when I tried it, I think back in 2021. Eventually it's doable. I guess that it has its own glitches and bugs, so I guess that they will solve it later. But trust me, it's possible. I guess that they will add this functionality in the future because if Microsoft's MRTK already delivered that in their SDK demo, and I already tried it even on the Quest, I don't see a reason that why Meta would not add this kind of similar capabilities. So let's see how we can enable this first. So you go to settings, you go to experimental features, and then you enable direct touch right here. So basically I can disable this, and as you can see, direct touch is disabled. And if I go back and enable it, this is the same experience that you will get once you enable it for the first time. It will squeeze the interface into a tablet-like interface that is a few centimeters away from you, so you can actually touch the interface. Because as you've seen, when I disable this, the interface goes back, so it's now far away from me. So which means that I can still touch my interface if I enable this, and then go back in settings and say I want to go back to multi-view. And now right now it's enabled, direct touch is enabled, but I'm far away from the screen, so I can still interact with the things that are close, near to me. But if I want to interact with this one, I have to actually get up off my sofa, off my chair, and I actually need to walk to it. And as I've said, it's about 2 meters away from me, and if I grab the interface, I can actually interact with it just like a huge touch screen. in my office. So that's pretty cool. Although the resolution of the user interface is not sharp because it's basically it's not vector-based graphics. Anyways, touch interface, either you use it as tablet mode or as spatial interactions, it works perfectly. Now, as for the UX side of things, so the first thing as a UX guy, and probably the same goes for other UX people who will watch this video, is this, the first question that will pop into your head is it even possible to actually interact with the interface in mid-air? I mean, is it tiring for my hands? Because eventually, we can't work for a long period with touch interfaces, even if they are physically in front of you. For example, if you have a Windows, Microsoft Surface computers, are actually you can actually go ahead and lower them down in order to put your hands on the screen itself. But when you're working in VR or AR with interfaces that are not physically there, I can't go ahead and put my hands on this one, right? Because it's in mid-air. So it's clear to us that we can't work for many minutes, not to mention hours, in mid-air. So for small interactions, I guess that it's fine. Now, as for feedback, because we need haptic feedbacks as humans, we need haptic feedbacks to know when our interaction is registered or not. So let's start with the good things that Meta actually managed to deliver. So when I go and click something, listen to the sound haptic feedback. As for now, Meta solved it by using sounds. So pay attention to this sound. You can hear the clicking sound that actually lets me know that my interaction with the interface is registered. The other thing that they've added is that when I'm hovering above the interface, you can see that there is a slight overlay, slight change of color of the button. So it may be not really visible on colored buttons. I can see that on Onward it's pretty visible, but on YouTube you can barely notice the difference. As for system menus, I can see that obviously they've done a great job. And also, this is something that when I saw this news about direct touches coming to Quest, I've wondered if they will add tooltips, because that's very essential for UX and letting the user to know in advance what's going to happen and what's the application. Because if I'm new to this kind of experience, let's say that it's my first day with MetaQuest or in VR in general, I would expect to know what this application is, because maybe, okay, files, I can guess that it's a file browser, okay, so that makes sense. But what's this thing? So if a user comes and it says browser, that's perfect, because he knows that the user will know that when he clicks this icon, the browser will open. So that's great. Now, the third thing that I would like to see is to being able to actually pin these windows to real surfaces. For example, right now I've got a wall. There is a wall on my right side here. So I would like to be able to actually take some window. Let's take for example this files menu, file browser. I want to be able to actually take this and I want to be able to actually pin it to my actual wall or to my desktop, my table. Yeah, I would like to be able to actually pin this entire thing on my table, and then maybe when it's on my table, at least I will have some sort of support for my hands by the table. And right now it will be more natural to interact with the touch interface, because when I put it on my table, I can actually touch my real table and feel the haptic feedback from my table and actually feel like I'm touching something while I'm touching a holographic interface that is not actually there. So that would be very important to enable users to actually put and pin these interfaces to actual surfaces in their room or office, and actually in their real life environment. I guess that in the future there will be a LiDAR that will do it automatically for you by scanning your entire office or room, and eventually map that with AI and machine vision. Where is what is a chair and what is a desktop and what is a closet and stuff like this. So we'll be able to actually pin these interfaces and other virtual elements to actual furnitures in your spatial environment. And according to rumors, this is exactly what Apple is working on. So we might get this kind of functionalities with Apple headset. Okay, so the last thing that I want to check is how typing works in midair using only my hands. So I can see that when I click on some text field, the keyboard just shows up, and as you can see, almost like in my original research project, I've had this UX and HCI research project in back in 2016. I wanted to actually file a patent and start a startup with it, and I did eventually when I left Microsoft. But uh, if you if you are not familiar with my Hoversense project, go and check this out, because this kind of gives me the vibes I had back then when I wanted to actually come up with a solution for not only touch devices but also for VR and AR. And I see that Meta is kind of going this way, and I really like this. Although it's not perfect because I don't see indicators for each fingers, but I guess that maybe in time. But the important things, the first glimpse of this kind of UX that I want to see. So when I bring my fingers close to the near to the keyboard, you can see that the keys are highlighted. Click on a specific key, you can see that it goes even brighter. Um, let's clear the field. You don't have two hands interactions. Yes, they do track the other fingers, but as you can see, only index fingers are registered as for now. Maybe when they will solve this individual finger tracking, then we will see the things that I've talked about before, about pinch to zoom and multiple finger interactions using only your hands. Now, if you are familiar with Hand Physics Lab, and the developers are doing some cool stuff in VR and AR with Meta's Hands SDK, you can see that there are some developers that are way beyond, far more advanced than what Meta is doing here themselves, but obviously they will improve it, I guess, in time. But as for now, for this update, V50 and the experimental feature of Direct Touch, it's better than nothing. I don't have to use the controllers anymore to type, and it's better than typing like we used to do like this when the keyboard was far away and we didn't have direct touch. So it's going to the right direction, and well done, Meta. I'm gonna definitely follow this one and to see where it goes. So well done. Anyways, that would be all. Let me know if you have some questions and some UX and maybe HCI related stuff. And you're also welcome to like and follow my page on Facebook or LinkedIn, and keep in touch. Okay, see you later.